Live.
Beautiful. Welcome to the Faith, Family, and Football Podcast. Today, I'm reaching you from Zambia, my birthright nation, the country of my birth. I'm excited to be here. I'm actually in Kabulonga. I'm on outreach here in Zambia. Excited to still continue doing this. Hey, today we actually are hosting our friend Brian. So, how are you, Brian? Welcome to the Faith, Football, and Family Podcast.
Thank you so much. Great to be with you and doing well today. Thank you.
Beautiful. And as usual, Dr. Ralph, welcome back. Thank you.
Always good to be here, Musa.
Sweet. So, as you guys know, we always start with a sports segment. So, we're going to start with the sports segment. And you obviously have heard about me and Dr. Ralph and how much we love soccer or football, whichever part of the world you come from. So, today we have Brian, and it's just bringing a wonderful nuance because he's wearing what they call football jersey. Saying what they call football jersey.
Very fair.
So,
When I got the
Brian,
invitation, I thought this was just what you meant. I football, of course, is the jersey you'd want somebody to wear on this kind of a discussion.
ah, so why do you call that football when you use your hand like 90% of the time?
There is no good reason for that I can come up with, other than the fact that just on that rare occasion we are allowed to kick it. But no, there's no good reason. I'll confess that. And for the record, I am a deep uh, enthusiast even about football, as we would call it around here, which would be the game you play in your mind with your feet. I love watching that sport too. But
Okay,
obviously, America's got this thing with this other version of football, and I have to be a part of that.
wonderful. So can I call that just an act of rebelling against the British?
You may do that. In fact, there's this really good bit if you ever are inclined to look for it. There's a comedian. His name is Nate
Okay,
Bargatze. In the last
okay,
in the last year, he did this wonderful bit on this whole discussion. I think the talk is called Washington's Dream, as in George Washington's dream. And he goes into this
okay.
whole dialogue on this dream of the sport called football in America. It's so hilarious. So do yourself a favor if you haven't seen that and check that out sometime.
I should. So, Dr. Ralph, do you also do football in Canada and you call it that?
We do, yeah. We have football. We call it, well, you see Brian's jersey has NFL on it, which is a National
Yeah,
Football League, and then there's American Football League. Well, we have a
yes,
Canadian Football League. And so our Canadian Football League is a bit different than the American, in that Americans, the goal is to get with four plays to try and get 10 yards down the field. With Canadians, we only have three plays to do that. And to facilitate that, our field is wider and longer because we do a lot more aerial, like throwing the football, than running the football in Canada. So a bit of a different twist to the games, but I love each, and yeah, but I still love soccer more.
it sounds to me that it's just a battle of egos. Really?
Yeah,
Because, I mean, why not have one sport called one thing and played the same way?
yeah.
Oh my God. All
Very
right.
fair argument. And Ralph, that's interesting to me. I didn't realize that you only got three plays, but it stands to reason Canadians would want to, exceed beyond those neighbors to the south and getting four tries, right?
Well, you know what? I'm not sure, but I'm wondering if our game is even older than yours. Because some,
Is it?
1869. I happened to see that recently, so I don't know
yeah,
if you
like
have
it's
a sense of
astounding
that.
how long ago we started that football.
Yeah,
So maybe,
interesting.
the Americans figure they're trying to one up us and
Ah,
going, well, we just aren't good enough to do it in three plays. We're going to give us four plays, and we won't tell anybody what's happening in Canada because they don't have internet yet and they won't
that's
know.
right.
Oh my
Sounds like
God.
more homework is needed here.
Yeah.
That sounds to me like egos there. Just egos, American and Canadian egos. Whoever, everybody wants to be the best at something that's uniquely theirs, right?
That's right.
Oh my God. So
Uh,
Brian, I see you have a jersey there that looks like a South African jersey, and South Africa is my home.
Mhm.
And I also know, at least from the South African Charter, that American football is just a copycat of rugby. You guys, you saw how rugby is being played and changed a few things. What did you say? What jersey is there? And what did you say about what South Africans think about American football?
So first of all, I did have a trip a while back through Africa, and on my way through South Africa, to your point, I was given this jersey, and I have no context for who this team, quite frankly, is, what they represent. But every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, when we go play sports with our kids, whether it's football with a ball on the ground that you kick, or football and a ball that you throw in the air, I'll throw that jersey on and they'll laugh at me. So it was a gift. Admittedly, I have no other connection to this team, but it's the Bulls, if you're familiar with
Mm-hmm.
that, South Africa.
Yeah.
To your point about rugby, I'm a 48-year-old man. I do not understand the game of rugby, but I consider myself athletic. I play a lot of sports where we've been involved in sports for our whole lives. And for the life of me, I cannot lock in the rules of rugby. I will go so far as to admit that this summer, again, as a 48-year-old man, during the Olympics, I Googled rules of rugby. I watched videos, I read information, and boy, it's just, I think old dog, new tricks kind of a problem for me. But um, I don't get it. It's a cool sport. I admire it. The fact that there are no pads blows me away. Tough people, obviously, playing that sport. Um, but yeah, I don't have much more to add. These tries, they call them tries, I think, when they're
Yeah.
trying
They
to get a
try five
try.
points, you cross the final line there.
Yeah, I know the words, I just don't understand, quite frankly.
Beautiful. Dr. Ralph, anything about, you've been a coach of soccer and football. You must have an interest to understand other sports.
To understand what, rugby?
Yes.
Oh, I must admit I am also not well schooled in the rules of rugby or how it all. I do know that you can't throw it forward. That much I know. It's always got to go at least sideways, at least a little bit backwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's about all I can gather from from rugby, actually.
Well, I'm gonna leave this for the next conversation, and I'll give you time, you guys, to just do your investigation because South Africans, and I could say one of them, we think American football is actually rugby wannabe. Uh,
Fair.
the macho-ness that is found in rugby, we feel like rugby is the ultimate man's game. That's why they call it in South Africa, the ultimate man's game. And American footballers, they want to do it, but they put on the helmets and the extended safety, whatever. They're like, man, if you want to do rugby, do it the right way.
Oh, that's
Oh
good.
my Lord, that's so,
Yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah.
All right, let's transition to soccer, where we spend so much time on. They call it soccer, we call it football. It's always going to be like that. Americans and their uniqueness, right?
Maybe seems that way.
Yeah, yeah. I think Canadians also do the same.
That's right.
I'm going to take it. Yeah. So let's go to football. Dr. Ralph, your Bundestags, or do you call it the Bundes what?
Bundesliga.
No, the German team itself. What do you call it? Bundes what?
Oh, well, they call it the Mannschaft.
Yeah, the Mannschaft did some awesome job the last few days, week,
Yeah,
to a week.
exactly.
Talk to us about that. And apparently they beat a country that could represent Brian.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
I
We
feel like
were
there's a
joking
theme to this conversation, beat up on the guy from the
up on
US.
Brian.
oh,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I already, poked at Brian
mhm.
yesterday in our pre-conversation about the
Yeah,
Germany
yeah,
Netherlands match for the Nations League, and
yes,
I was very pleased to see Germany come away with the win for that. It's always a close game. I love Netherlands
yeah,
Germany games. They are just there's some ethos about that is very special. And
Mhm.
actually, I'm wearing this jersey in honor of the not the game, but the pregame yesterday. So this jersey was the jersey for the 2010 the away jersey for the 2010 national team for the World Cup. And that's when a
Hmm.
lot of new blood was introduced that added so much excitement to the German team. Thomas Mueller, Manuel Neuer, the goalie, Mesut Ozil,
Ozil, yeah.
so many big names that transformed the team into just a joy to watch. And they ended up third that year. Well, at the Germany-Holland game, was it yesterday or the day before? They had a special retirement celebration for Thomas Mueller
Hmm.
and Manuel Neuer
Wonderful.
and the others. And so, yeah, 2010 and now to 2024, they're retired from National Football Service, and yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So, Brian, which country do you stand for? Do you stand for the United States National Men's League or men's team, or you have any other European team that you support?
Yeah. Well, I'm probably not, it's not legitimate for me to hardly answer that question because I do not follow it like Dr. Ralph does, evidently, and like most of the world does, admittedly. But first of all, the home country bias for me has to go up there. So I have to say the Netherlands in my case, as Dr. Ralph pointed out. That's one that I
Mhm.
certainly cheer for, especially come Olympic time and World Cup time. My eye is uniquely on that team. There's no doubt about it. And then, of course, with Messi and, a couple other global stage players finding their way to the U.S., uh,
Yeah,
we'll see what's percolating here.
wonderful. Well, so I guess we have a rivalry that's forming. I would love to see how it grows and how it ends up. There's one thing about the Dutch team. They always are underperformers, but they perform very well. You see, in any competition, they will go to the finals or semifinals or quarterfinals, and they'll never get the cups. What is wrong with the Dutch team? Let's talk a bit about that.
I think this is a third pick on me moment, if I'm not mistaken, but I see how this is going.
Okay, perennial underperformers, yet they perform very good.
And yet tough,
Yeah, I
persistent.
mean,
That's the way I think
I'm
about it.
telling you, it's a great team.
Yeah, great.
Whenever they are in a huge competition, whether World Cup, Euro, I
Yeah,
mean, you can count on them reaching the semifinals, the quarterfinals, or somewhere there,
they show
but they
up.
never get to lift the cup.
I know.
What's the problem?
You guys can answer that better than me.
Well, I mean, Germany has really proved for themselves very well. Uh, I mean, the last couple of years hasn't been as Germany as German has been. But the one thing about German, sometimes their soccer is very not very boring. I mean, but they managed to score and win cups. So yeah, there's little to say about that. All right. So I guess
Musa,
talking a
you
bit
didn't
about
answer the
my
question
content.
though. Yeah, what about your
What?
team, if I may? Okay, who's your
Yeah.
team?
So from the European side, let me start from the African side. I support my Zambian team,
Yeah.
and man, we had a match on I think on Saturday last week. We were playing Chad and we drew at home,
Hmm.
and people were very angry. We got this coach Avram Grant from I think he's a Jewish guy. He was a coach of Chelsea at some point,
Hmm.
and people are like just calling for his head. But
Hmm.
now we went to Chad and we beat Chad away. So at least people's hearts have been.
There's hope.
So it's much
Redemption.
better now because at least we've beaten Chad away. So we should be fine. But then to your question, I'm answering your question, Brian. Global stage.
Hmm.
I go for Italy. Uh, that's in Europe. I'll be very Italian focused. Diego Maradona and Totti. Those are the players I followed a lot. Andre Pirlo and whatnot. In South America, probably I'll follow Brazil. No, not Brazil. I follow Argentina. I've always been Argentina in South America. And of late, I followed France also because I feel like France, they play very high tempo, very nice soccer. I've followed them. But I've never really supported France very, very, very like passionately or followed them very closely. I enjoy watching them. At the club level, I'm diehard Manchester United.
Fair. Menu.
I love. Look at this man. He's trying to hammer me. He's trying to.
Well, hold on a sec. Here we go. I gotta unblur my background here.
Ronaldo. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There
Just
you
just for
go with
you.
your
Just for
Liverpool.
you, Musa. There you
Oh,
go.
that's for me. Oh, what are
Manchester
you doing with
United.
my jersey? What are you doing with that jersey?
Uh,
Oh, I've always loved Manchester United. I feel like they always have a beautiful story, especially under our former the glory as we called him, Sir Alex Ferguson.
yeah.
It was never too late until it's late. Yeah, we could come back at any moment.
Tell me
I
about
don't
it.
forget the final. UEFA Champions League final, Manchester United versus Bayern Munich.
Don't mention
Mm.
that 1999 final.
Mm.
That was horrible.
1999 final.
Yeah. 1 minute left in regulation time. Bayern
And then,
scores, and you figure it's safe.
and then,
Go into extra
and
time.
then,
Manchester scores 2 goals before final time. Oh,
Unbelievable.
you
wow,
just ruined
awesome.
my
I mean,
morning, Musa.
I'm telling you, it should. That's the whole purpose of soccer. Makes your day or destroys or ruins it.
That's right.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So I think we'll wind up from here. We can transition into our fifth component. Yes. So yeah, let's move on to the next.